Everybody, I am Thirteene, and tonight's probably going to be a quick one. So we're going to be brewing, might be the right word, Naya Kiln Fiend. So anybody familiar with the Kiln Fiend deck from like 2 years ago? It's a blue-red deck featuring our good buddy Kiln Fiend. And you basically just cantrip, you find bolts, you're kind of a weird burn deck that requires Kiln Fiend to stay alive. But we got a brand new toy for this deck named Feather. So when I saw the spoiler for Feather, I'm like, this is probably going to be one of my favorite cards. I have an Angel EDH deck. It buys back instants and sorceries. It's a really unique design. It also is 3 mana for a 3/4 keyword with a really unique ability. And I was just all over this. And I felt like Kiln Fiend was a great home. So, bottom line, Kiln Fiend, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Huge payoffs for a 2 mana 1/2. But then Feather allows us to rebuy those if we target a creature with one of our spells. So, first card to come to mind was Defiant Strike. 1 mana, going to give Kiln Fiend +4/+0, draw a card, and buy it back if Feather's on the field. Then we get a couple of really fun beefy creatures. Phyrexian mana is the definition of spikes, so we can pay 0, mutagenic growth, give our Kiln Fiend +5/+2. Buy it back with Feather, Apostle's Blessing, opponent goes to remove it, give it protection so it can swing through defenders. Basically just a lot of power there. Again, keep rebuying with Feather, keep making our Kiln Fiends massive, and then after we use a bunch of these cheap spells to fill our graveyard, if we don't quite have Feather yet, because Feather is expensive and a little hard to stick, we can just delve away our graveyard for Become Immense. Become Immense is probably going to be 1 mana, give +9/+6 to Kiln Fiend. I can also target Feather for the evasive flyer, like just a lot of options there. And then on top of that, we get a slew of free utility cards. Gut Shot can remove something small, can also just ping our opponent for 1, grow Kiln Fiend. Noxious Revival can buy back our creatures as long as they're not exiled. Manamorphose, just cantrips, gives us mana. All the fun stuff. That's Naya Kiln Fiend, and yeah, we're going to try to do some explodey things. So, got our first match here. Monastery Swiftspear is possibly the worst threat in our deck, but we have cards that do things, so I'm okay to give this a shot. We're also going to look a lot like Burn from this list. Noxious Revival can buy back a threat. Opponent's got a little light on cards here. But yeah, we're hopefully going to make some beefy creatures. Monastery Swiftspear is probably the worst of our threats, but we have a Feather, we have a Monastery Swiftspear, we can buy back threats, protect them. I'm on board. We look like Burn. We're not Burn, but it's probably going to make it so our opponent wants to try to kill Swiftspear. And I'm going to hang on to Gut Shot as long as possible. Can clear out like a Thalia. Can grow Monastery Swiftspear if it's a thing. Yeah, you can't... Oh, Mausoleum Wanderer. Lovely. And another Feather's not the best. So... definitely gut-shotting the Mausoleum Wanderer, just trying to figure out if I want to leave up Apostle's Blessing. It's probably not worth it. So let's go ahead and just pay real mana for that, get a Prowess trigger. Would have been nice if we had a land set. We could actually make sure to hit our land drops for Feather. But in the meantime, all this stuff gets to happen. Get a couple more chip damage in. Spirits doesn't seem that bad. Eventually we can just call Pro Blue and get in past just about anything but a Mutavault. Things like Gut Shot are actually kind of relevant. That's mildly annoying. So if opponent wants to block with Supreme Phantom, we can still kill it by chucking a ton of stuff into our graveyard. Is it worth 3 damage to pay a bunch of life? Probably not. I kind of want to get these cards into the graveyard, though. I really need another land. But if they've got Path, Apostle's Blessing should be good. Also, just hitting a land for Feather means that we're buying back a lot of these. Opponent's leaving up Spell Queller. And another Apostle's Blessing. We are technically winning this race. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. We need a land really bad. If we had a Kiln Fiend, we would have killed opponent a long time ago. We only have 2 feathers in the deck. Drawing both of them this early is slightly awkward. Opponent also has that Cocoa mana, and that's relevant. Yeah, this is moving significantly slower than I was expecting it to. Land is actually pretty good here. So I'm going to go get a basic Plains. Oh, never mind, that's a Wooded Foothills. That doesn't work. Basic Mountain works. Our life total is mildly relevant here. I'm going to attack in, opponent's going to Cocoa. You're going to take probably at least 2, potentially 3 damage. I did consider it, but I just didn't really think it was worth it, just because buying back something that hopefully Feather's going to keep in hand didn't feel good enough. Opponent's going to Spell Queller the Feather. Yep, as expected. So the nice thing about Dreadhorde Arcanist or Slapcaster Mage is you can become Immense and then immediately recast to become Immense. But I really just wanted a Kiln Fiend. The Slapcaster Mage would have replaced Monastery Swiftspear. Oh, sorry. Just for YouTube after the fact. That is the card in question. And I'm hitting a point I'm considering Noxious Revivaling a land for opponent. I felt like having haste was more relevant because 9 times out of 10 I'm just going to kill opponent. Like if I draw a Mutagenic Growth, I'm pretty sure I'm lethal. Just Pro Blue. Yeah, I mean, you hit me for 6, but Become Immense is representing 6. Well, 7 with Prowess. 8, 9, 10. I'm 1 damage off of lethal. Ooh, actually, that means that I can put Gut Shot on top of my library. So, let's actually do the math here. Untap, 1 prowess, 2 prowess, 3 damage, 4, 5. Yeah, so I should kill opponent here. So, untap, we're going to Noxious Revival, put Gut Shot on top. Draw the Gut Shot. First things first, we're gonna... No, I need to leave green available, otherwise I lose. Okay. So opponent doesn't have a path. Pay life. Oh, okay, well that's fine. I can hit anything with that. Oh, that has to be that you control. Okay, well, I still have lethal, so that's fine. I almost missed so hard. I needed to do pro blue first, but I was afraid opponent had a path. Alright, well, opponent can't block because it's pro white, and that's lethal. Pretty much out of nowhere. I'm not happy with how close that was. That shouldn't have been that close. Alright, so sideboard. Destructive Revelry could technically hit their Aether Vials. You never want to board in for that. Dramoka's Command can make us fight a spirit to get something back. These are pretty obvious. Shaper's Sanctuary is in here for control matchups because we can always Noxious Revival to get a creature back, but being able to draw whenever they target something of ours is just fantastic. I want Lightning Bolts to clear the ground. Typically, when you bring in Lightning Bolts, that means you're trimming gut shots. Most of the time, this can hit a Monastery Swift, or not a Monastery Swift Spear, a Mausoleum Wanderer on one, and this is free. So maybe a little bit more like this. Maybe. I don't know. Getting pathed is a definite consideration here. So I think I might actually need these. 3 might be overkill. I don't know. It's always so hard. Battle Rage feels relevant. Blossoming Defense actually costs mana? I don't know. So scientific. Yeah, they all do the same thing. They're super cheap. They trigger Prowess / Kiln Fiend, and then hopefully I'm just going to one-shot opponent out of nowhere by Noxious Revivaling a Gut Shot. Like, who knew Gut Shot was the good card in play? Alright, so this is turn 1 Monastery Swift Spear, turn 2 Kiln Fiend, and then probably kill opponent. I like this. I'm not in love with it, but I like it. Yeah, I can take that away. Fetch lands are overrunning in this deck because I need to fill the graveyard for Become Immense. I need to get a green source here, so it's probably just going to be a Stomping Ground. I have a lot of red and 2 whites. Yeah, opponent has Path, but if they're going to blow it this early on Swift Spear, I'm perfectly okay with that. I mean, last game I did a turn 1 Swift Spear. It ended up one-shotting them on turn 5, turn 6. Opponent was waiting to see if I was going to commit all into this thing. Oh, or not. Well, they're not running the fast lands. Well, of course they run out of fast land when I say that. But they're not running the specific fast land combo to try to stay under 3 mana. They are the Coco deck, which means they need to hit 4. I'm not going to run out my next land yet. I'm going to see if opponent's willing to try to call my bluff here. They've seen our deck at this point, so I can't imagine they're going to sack a Lord just to try to prevent up to 3 damage. Alright. Well, opponent, if you want to play this game, you got to kill this Kiln Fiend, otherwise you're dead next turn. If opponent can't answer this Kiln Fiend, we're going to give protection. It's going to be a 4-2. We're going to make it a 5-2, an 8-2, 11-2, and multiple prowess triggers. We can kill opponent here if they don't respect the Kiln Fiend. Oh. Alright. Well, Deputy of Detention is slowing us down, but not really doing a ton to kill us. And another Swift Spear is perfectly fine. So, Swift Spear comes down. Opponent knows they can't block. Since they don't have any interaction held up, just going to go ahead and get some more free damage in. Cantrip, find the replacement spell. Probably Noxious Revivaling the Defiant Strike. Nope. Getting committed into the Kiln Fiend next turn. In the meantime, Apostle's Blessing will protect my Swift Spear, also make something unblockable. There's just so much of this deck that is fantastic. It's very much along the power lines of Modern, where you're just like, I want a very fast deck that can get in and kind of protect its combo. I miss you, Kiln Fiend. They say you're a beast, but you look like a kitty. Kiln Fiend. Going for the Coco? Okay. That's fine. There could be an argument there to Noxious Revival, put a land on top, just make it less likely that they hit. Basically make it look at top 5 instead of top 6, but odds are they're going to hit stuff anyway. Double Knight of Autumn. That is pretty awkward. Gain 8 life. Alright. Opponent, you got me. I'm going to go ahead and get in. I technically have multiple prowess triggers. Why did you do that? Why? So now I get to give it pro green and kill both their knights. Opponent hasn't been paying attention, I don't think. Alright, well, whatever, that's fine. So I'm going to stop on my upkeep again. Going to put Defiant Strike on top of my deck. That's representing at least 5 damage off of Prowess, 6 including the +1/+0. It's going to cantrip me into something else. I'll have an additional Prowess trigger off the Noxious Revival and another +3 on the Kiln Fiend. And then I can Apostle's Blessing to make something unblockable. Yeah. So right now, Pro Blue is letting me go unblocked. Okay, Pro White, but still. Swing in? Yes! I need to go off mic 1 second. Okay. So, I think I one-shot opponent here. Noxious Revival. Oh, Thalia. Why, Thalia? Why? Wait, do I even want to do that now? So, Noxious Revival, Defiant Strike. If I hit a land, then I can Apostle's Blessing as well. Otherwise, I'm Defiant Strike, Apostle's Blessing, full price. Yeah, I'm priced into it. Alright, draw a Defiant Strike for turn, which means I get a Defiant Strike this. Alright, so I don't think that quite does it, but I get a clear opponent's board. Oh, but I am in pain. I actually might die on the backswing, so I don't think I can Apostle's Blessing here. If I make this pro, it's going to be 11 damage. I'm tanking on this so long opponent knows I have another spell in hand. Yeah, I guess I just have to go for it. I am pretty much dead on the backswing, unless they triple... They can't triple chump. Oh boy, that makes me sad. We were so close, 1 point of damage off. The Thalia actually made that really hard. Yep. So I get my Kiln Fiend back, I'm dead on the backswing. Wait. Oh yeah, because that's lorded. Oh well. Alright, go to game 3. Dramoka's command looking a little bit more tempting. Gut Shot actually feels insanely relevant versus Thalia. Maybe just trim a Battle Rage. Like, this would have won the game for us, but... all these cards are so similar. Manamorphose gets significantly worse with the Thalia on the table. That actually might be it. It fills a card in our graveyard. Noxious lets us get our last combo piece to win on the spot, though. Like, here I can... I actually don't think I can keep this one. I like Noxious because it's a free spell and it can buy back something that matters. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, Lord. Eh. 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 Well, if they can't answer Feather and I hit 2 land drops... The first hand was okay, but it only represented like 5 damage. We would have had to draw into something really, really good. My first hand was passable. So it was a Swift Spear, 4 spells, one of which was a cantrip. I, for a second there, thought I had to Manamorphose into Feather, but that would have required me drawing into exactly the correct land. I will pass it to you guys. After going to 4, I should have kept the 7, but the 7 didn't do anything crazy impactful on the first go. Oh boy. So right now I'm all in on Feather. Opponent's got a pretty fast Spirit start that can counter a spell. This is more to try to bait out the Mausoleum Wanderer, which it looks like it didn't do. I'm more likely to get a red source in this deck. Really, Feather? Really? That's how you want to play me? Do I want to draw off the Defiant Strike? No, that's my gas for the future. So, guys, I'm trying to count to 20, though, and when my original hand only counts to 5 on a single turn, but costs like 12 life, I don't think it's worth keeping. It's still pretty good, but a Kiln Fiend could win on the spot, where a Monastery Swiftspear and 4 cantrips don't... They weren't even cantrips, they were just mediocre spells. Don't quite get there. Yeah, this is over. I will see if I can draw another card. So I'm looking at... What? Alright, well, I can land a Feather, but that's about all I can do. And opponent's holding up Spell Queller, so I'm out of this. And of course, opponent's going to tank on it. Okay, they have a Drog Skull. Yep, and I'm dead. That's amazing how hard that was to think through. Alright, so I'll update record. You guys are making me feel bad about my decisions to mulligan that last one. In hindsight, yes, I shouldn't have mulliganed it, but looking at a 7 that deals 5 damage doesn't feel like it's where I want to be at with this deck. I guess if I had cantripped off the Manamorphose into a Battle Rage, that would have been 14 damage. But like drawing a double strike and counting to 14 is, yeah. So I will also qualify. I think a couple of my streams I've mentioned this. I get super bad migraines sometimes, and I have one right now. I was looking for a little bit of a faster deck tonight. I originally planned on playing Teferi Serum Visions and to counterbalance Miracles in Modern. Like, this is keepable. I can protect my Monastery Swift Spear. If they just kill it, I can buy it back. This has a lot of recursive value going for it. And like right now my head is killing me, so I'm preferring faster matches that might be really skewing the results here. Alright, well, if this is Spirits, we get another rebuy to try to beat them. Looks like Merfolk, though. Alright, the Merfolk are coming. That Battle Rage is quite tasty. Sacred Foundry. Monastery Swift Spear. It is worth mentioning that they could potentially have a Curse Catcher off this Aether Vial to counter a spell. But these will grow to be out of the reach of blocking, assuming that I do just about anything. They get the Prowess triggers. They don't actually have to have a spell resolved against them. Then I'm going to put a stop on my upkeep. I'm likely picking up this land and going for Feather. If I go all out here, I can get +4. +5. So it would be a 5/6, and then Battle Rage would be 12. So I'd actually be super close to killing them if I go unblocked. But I think buying stuff back with Feather feels appropriate. Okay, so that's going to turn Feather off. Honestly, that's fine. Whatever. Means I'm probably actually going to be on... Yeah, I actually still think I want the land. This could potentially be on Merfolk Trickster now, which would tap down one of my creatures and have it lose all abilities. So I think I'm going to start like this. No, can't start like that. I want my land. That's where I'm starting at, is I want my land. I only have 20 in the deck, so really need to make lands count. And opponent was tanking on this. It makes me think that they might potentially have the Trickster, and they're trying to figure out if it's worth stopping the Prowess triggers. But in the meantime, this is at least an Apostle's Blessing, should I need it. This potential Trickster is making me feel all kinds of bad about the current situation. So if I try to give it Double Strike at any point in time, they could just take Double Strike away. Yeah, Apostle's Blessing is going to give me lethal when I actually go for the Battle Rage, so I have to do this now. Get in for 5, kill their Silver Guild for free. That was some odd sequencing from opponent. But I'm not complaining, I got in. Now Apostle's Blessing Battle Rage is going to be +2/+2. That's only going to represent 6 damage from one of these guys and 3 from the other one for a total of 9. They have a Regery. Yep. Hi, Regery. I'd love a Become Immense. Harbinger Bounce Swift Spear actually isn't that impactful. If I really cared, I could give it Pro Blue. Although it looks like they might have another Regery. If they do, they should untap the Vial. Not the land. Oh, the Lords are coming. Alright, so that's going to power up Mutavault. Mutavault's going to be a 4/4. I'm getting hit for 8. Actually, Mutavault's going to be a 5/5. I'm getting hit for 9. Yeah, that was quite bad. I think Mutagenic Growth might actually be my best bet here. Defiant Strike into Mutagenic Growth is the best out. This was my first Modern deck, and it just felt like it was too linear. Like, none of the decisions I made really mattered. Defiant Strike into Become Immense, I think, is also lethal. I didn't actually do the math on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Alright, so Swift Spear, Mutagenic Growth, Battle Rage. Doesn't work. Swift Spear, Apostle's Blessing, Mutagenic Growth doesn't really work. If I go all in on this, it's going to be... I need 2 more life. That's sad. So to get up to 12, I need to get this to 6. This will be 3. This is how I'm going to go in unblocked. So I can hit them for 8. It's not quite good enough. Alright, next game. Again, Bolt here taking out a Lord is going to slow down their clock by like 2 turns, just because of how their deck works. Apostle's Blessing is how I get in unblocked. Manamorphose feels like it's the worst card here, just because so many of these do the same thing. Opponent could potentially have a couple of counter spells, but it looks like they're playing the original builds that are just Lords on Lords on Lords. Blossoming Defense actually is probably the worst, because that costs mana. And these just give me free prowess triggers. There could potentially be an argument, again, for Fight. Yeah, I like that. Basically, we're back to the point where Kiln Fiend would have been lethal. Swift Spear just was a little short. We couldn't cast Feather. I did do a slight bit of gold fishing with this deck, and Feather is just so hard to cast. This deck doesn't like 3 mana, and it's very capable of turn 3 kills. In fact, turn 3 kills are its bread and butter. So this is our grinding engine. It almost feels like it belongs on the sideboard, but this is the card that made me want to play this deck, so here we are. Cheerpoint, Slapcaster Mage may have been better. Here, this is Swift Spear, Defiant Strike, Bolt the Lord, buy back the land. We're currently representing a kind of slow clock, but after last time mulliganing down to Oblivion, it was just bad. I'd love a Kiln Fiend, just saying. I think I'm going to go for Defiant Strike here. I still get to leave up Protection, and I think I need the green mana, although Yeah, I become immense. I need the green mana. Ta-da! Land's alright. I'm going to put the upkeep stop back. Odds are I want the Defiant Strike back just because it keeps cantripping. Defiant Strikes represent a decent amount of damage, and this Apostle's Blessing means that will go through unblocked. This Lightning Bolt, despite being instant, is likely happening on our turn just so that we can get the Prowess trigger. We are trying to count to 20 as fast as possible. And opponent's definitely rocking the Trickster. So 3 lands is actually fine for where we're at. Yep, there's the Trickster. Honestly, they can do them. Alternatively, what can I actually do for damage here? So I can... This is 6, 7, 11, 12. Do I just go for 12 and then Noxious Revival Bolt on top of my deck? I think that's the plan. This is the power of the deck, though. Like, Swift Spear is the worst card in our deck by a pretty wide margin. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. Pay 1. We're going to go pro blue. That should shut off everything opponent's doing. Then Mutagenic Growth, pay life. Mutagenic Growth, pay green. Bolt opponent, pay red. Then stop on her upkeep, Noxious Revival, pick up the bolt, put opponent to 1. Turn 3, casual 16 damage off a single Swift Spear. Oh, I should have Noxious Revival then I would have killed them. I was not thinking straight. Alright, well, if I lose, that's on me. That's 100% on me. Silvergill revealing Silvergill. Alright, so what's the best bet here? Do I actually just Noxious Revival the Apostle's Blessing, get 2 Prowess triggers? I can Noxious Revival the Bolt, although that would have won the game. That feels so bad. I think right now my best bet is just a natural draw. Yeah, Kiln Fiend is fine. So, Kiln Fiend. Ship it back to opponent. I just misplayed so hard. We killed opponent there. That's... Trying really hard not to let the punk get to me, but at least now we can Noxious Revival Apostle's Blessing, go pro blue, and kill opponent. I guess Trickster is still technically live there. I'll have multiple Prowess triggers, though, and this will just be a beefy dude. Drawing into a Become Immense, or not Become Immense, a Battle Rage is also lethal. Okay, well that's unfortunate. But I think opponent just locked themselves out of the game now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're dead now. So, Apostle's Blessing. I'm just going to pay life. I can't imagine what they have, but paying life feels safer. Yeah, I feel really bad for punting that one, but we got there. So you're getting pro blue. And then this is safer in case they do have Curse Catcher. Pro blue. Yay, Kiln Fiend. Such a good magic card. Opponent is on the play this time around, though, and they definitely put up a fight game one. Yeah, that's fine. You dead. Alright. So, I don't think anything changes. I still like the idea of just pinging them for 2 off Destructive Revelry and killing their Vial, but... we still do good things. So Dreadhorde Arcanist is a 1/1, can cast all of these for free out of the graveyard. But it also exiles it from the graveyard, which makes Become Immense a little bit less. But it can also recast Become Immense after it Become Immense. Yeah, it's too narrow. It sounds good, though. Okay, so no creatures here. That has to be a mulligan. Why do we keep getting Swift Spear hands? Oh, this can kill a Silvergill Adept. Whatever Mancer dude has a redraw. After mulling to Oblivion, it feels like we have to keep this. A creature is the bare minimum of what I need to actually make this happen. Hi, Curse Catcher. Hi, Gut Shot. Wonder if you have a target. Ooh, Feather's a pretty good one. So opponent's shown that they really like their Spreading Seas. I think they left all 4 of them in. So I'm going to just grab my Mountain here. Rather not pay the life if it does come down to a kind of close one. And Gut Shot feels fantastic here. 2 to me, 2 to opponent. Kill their creature. Yeah. You countered it. Taylor's been doing good tonight. Despite the fact that she's like the worst card in our deck, she's been doing pretty well tonight. Silvergill, revealing Lord of Atlantis. Noxious Revival. Okay, I may have punted there. So I can Noxious Revival, the Gut Shot, Manamorphose into it, hit for 3 through blocks. Yeah, that actually feels the best. Again, sticking with basics just feels so much better than taking life for no reason to take life. We get our Gut Shot back. This is wasting a mana. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the best sequencing, but... scratch that. We're hitting for 4. And then we're putting a Evasive Threat into play. Yeah, this deck is actually showing some legs. It's doing better than I was expecting it to. It has some fun, unique lines that like you have to set up with Noxious Revival and your cantrips and... I'm enjoying this deck so far. This is going to go get a Temple Garden, assuming that we don't get Spreading Seized. Run out Feather, hopefully draw into a Defiant Strike. Oh, I can't attack in. Alright, well, that's why we do what we do. Now they don't need to save it for the flying thing. It's my dog. He is very, very annoying, to say the least. See if I can pull this up. He's one of those little tiny 5-pound dogs. I ended up getting him from my brother and sister-in-law. I kind of was the only one that could take care of him. He actually did the video for Wolf Tribal on April Fool's Day. But he likes to be heard. When you're that tiny, you gotta make a lot of noise. It was funny because I actually had a migraine on April Fool's too, which was fantastic because my head was hurting. But Wolf Tribal actually came out pretty well. It was basically Ponza style with like Emmerwolf and Huntmaster of the Fells, Master of the Wild Hunt. Like, it turned out pretty well. Alright, so that's a thing. So, I mean, I'm king of the 2-3 bracket with absolute jank. I'm pretty sure we went 2-3 that night. I honestly can't remember. But we put up a fight. Yeah, opponent, you're supposed to let me attack first. So, the way that this works is exile that card instead of putting it in your graveyard. So, I get a Battle Rage this. Which means it's getting in unblocked and then I'm buying back Battle Rage. Okay, I'm thoroughly enjoying this deck. If opponent would have let me attack with Feather first, then they would have killed Feather here, but this is still amazing. Yeah, that doesn't work the way you want it to, opponent. I'm wondering if they're kind of new to Magic. Either way, that just has delicious written all over it. Ooh, tasty cake. So now I'm pretty sure I want Defiant Strike. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Given the fact that I only have 13 lands left in my deck, this does actually feel like it's statistically relevant thinning. It also is going to make it so that the future Spreading Seas aren't nearly as good. Darn you! Alright, let's see if opponent has any fun shenanigans to do. If they correctly understood Feather, they're going to know that I have Battle Rage in hand. Okay. Run it back. Feather, rebuy, and Battle Rage. I honestly didn't think I'd ever see the day. This has just been amazing. Feather, come on down! That's amazing. I think I found something nearly as nice as casting Cryptic Command in Modern. Alright, Alright, so opponent can have a 3/3 Mutavault now, which means Swift Spear isn't nearly as good. Also means that 2 Lords could also swing back for lethal. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet, but this has just been so nice. Really, deck? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of 20 in the top 16. Yeah, I think for now, Feather's just getting in. If they have another Echoing Truth, they have another Echoing Truth. Alright. You had the Echoing Truth. And I'm still going to run this out. Like, hard casting Become Immense feels doable in this deck. Not like happy doable, but doable. Noxious Revival into Manamorphose is threatening Ferocious on the Swift Spear. Master of Waves. Alright, so Pro Red might be a little annoying there. But if we draw like any cantrip, I think we just have them dead. It probably was, but... Okay, so super dead? It even buys it back! Oh, can't do that yet. Well, I guess I can. I just won't have the trample. Which, the trample doesn't feel relevant, but... Flooded so hard and still swinging for 10 double strike trample flying. Feather, you done right by me. I'm happy so far. I'm very happy so far. $10 of 20 in the top 16 is pretty painful. Like, I understand there's fetching involved, but that's still like a really improbable chance of drawing that many. In fact, as long as we're waiting, let's try to pull it up. So... Population size 60, number of successes in population 20, sample size 16, number of successes 10, 0.5% chance. Again, like I understand fetching skewed the number of sample size, but that's still like super improbable right there. Alright, Moto, you can pop up the current window. That's a thing that works. Alright, no creature. Why, Taylor? Why? Well, opponent's going to 4. 3. Keeps. Card on top. Manamorphose is actually quite fantastic for filling our graveyard. I think we're going to hit for 10 on turn 2. Oh, sorry, opponent. You're Tron, and today is not your day. To be fair, there have been worse matchups, but I'm going to be very close to killing them very quickly. In fact, if I find a Battle Rage, I'm pretty sure you're just overkill dead, like 40 damage on turn 3. Oh, 2 Tron lands of the same type. I don't think you're getting there. Brad1, are you watching? Brad1, are you watching? Oh, I should have fetched on turn 1. That was a mistake. I needed an extra card in my graveyard. Alright, well, I punted. There should have been an extra card in the graveyard. Thank you for that. Is that just because I tried to summon you? Okay, I want white and red. Yeah, I don't have it yet. That's my bad. Otherwise, that would have been 11 damage on turn 2 versus Tron. Blast Zone? Really? Okay, you need 3 mana to crack that, though. Dude, Sacred Foundry? Really? What do I need? I need white, red. Ugh. Yeah, alright. Well, I'm going to leave a Defiant Strike in the graveyard for Noxious Revival reasons. Yeah, okay. We got there. Tron. I think Stony Silence is probably high enough value. Destructive Revelry feels pretty good. If we can crack their Expedition map, especially on the play, this feels fantastic. On the draw, it's not nearly as good. Apostle's Blessing. You can get pro artifacts, which could be relevant if they start getting to the Wormcoil part of the game, but I don't think we're going to let them go that long with Kiln Fiend. Gut Shot being free might be worth having. Just because it's representing 2 damage off of Prowess, 4 damage off of Kiln Fiend for 0 mana. Mutagenic Growth is just a better version of that. Noxious Revival is fine, but I might trim one. Probably don't need all of these. I don't know. How's that look? Do I need to bring the bolts in just for a little bit more damage? This is representing 6 off of Kiln Fiend, 4 off of Swift Spear. Maybe Feather Slow. Turn 3 might be a little slow for that. I could see this. If I can snag something like an Oblivion Stone or something, that's great. Otherwise, hopefully, don't punt and kill on turn 3. Ugh, no creatures. And opponent kept 7 very, very quickly. This doesn't work, right? Like, Stony Silence just won't get me there. Alright, well, this is a land, Noxious Revival, Kiln Fiend. I could potentially kill on turn 3 if I see a Mutagenic Growth. Alright, so they don't have another Tron land. That's pretty good. Stirrings might get them there, but they at least don't have a second one ready. Oblivion Stone's fine. Hey, you bluffed me, opponent. Not cool, dude. Okay, I need white and red with my current hand. What are the odds of getting a natural Tron kill Kiln Fiend? I think I just set up for the turn 2 kill. I think that's the best I can ask for. If they have Karn, they should hit Kiln Fiend. If they don't, then I'm probably really close to killing them this turn. Alright, really close to killing them this turn. So I can Gut Shot on upkeep, Noxious Revival, Gut Shot. That's going to be hitting for 10, 12. Swift Spear won't be active. They found Tron. If I Gut Shot, then I don't have another out. Well, I think I just have to go for the biggest win. So first one's life. You want me to draw? What do I draw into, though? So I can draw into Mutagenic Growth, Manamorphose. Yeah, this is actually resolving multiple spells. I probably shouldn't have ran out Swift Spear. This is weak to Ugin, but Ugin significantly less than Karn, and this is still representing a lot of damage. If they Ugin and clear my board, it's pretty much just over. The only thing that'll survive an Ugin Plus in my deck is Feather. Oh, I knew about that. And they have 5 mana. Yep, that was a punt. But it means they don't have an Ugin. Yep. Alright, well that is Delph fodder. If I would have paid life for the Noxious Revival, I could have covered that. I knew they had it. Like that was just horrible sequencing from my part. Again, I'm not in the right headspace. When I get migraines, it just like really shuts down everything I could possibly be doing. Alright, so they're on Mycosynth Lattice lock. Yep. Actually, they just locked themselves out of the game, and they're closer to milling. So, does opponent know what they just did? Because we just won. This is going to be the most boring win ever. Alright, I'm going to go remove all of my stops. Yeah, they don't have one. They can't activate anything. Unless... Oh, wait. If they have Eldrazi Titans, they'll eventually win this. Because they'll end up discarding it to hand size and then shuffling in. I don't have that out. Alright, well, who wants to watch? This honestly feels like watching your clothes spin in the dryer. Yeah, they're still playing. So, odds are they have an Eldrazi to discard and I'm going to lose, but I literally have no stop. So I'm just going to continuously click on things and discard them when my turns come around. They're going to fall behind on clock and... I don't comprehend what's happening. I mean, chat, do we have any ideas what to do? Because I doubt they have Emrakul, but they could. Odds are they don't have OG Kozilek or Ulamog. They probably have Nulamog, but that's not going to do anything. Okay, yeah, opponent saw what was coming. I need to go add these stops back in. I can't exactly remember what I had. So I had all the combat steps. They conceded. We're good. I don't think I had damage. I think I had in combat. Stop on my turn. Stop on both my turn and their turn. Huh. Like, what? What was that? So apparently, the solution to this is just Stony silence the Mycosynth lattice deck. That's got to be one of my more entertaining wins I think I've ever had. Despite the fact it was boring to watch, it was at least entertaining to win. Ooh, this is a hand that is right up my alley. So we get to rebuy our land, we get to build up to Feather, we have Become Immense, we have a couple of free spells that are just going to fill the yard. And we're playing against some variant of a fair deck. Pawn's not overly fair, but it's fine. If they start blowing up our lands, we can at least buy them back. So this is going to be a Sacred Foundry. Despite the green cards in hand, I actually need to be able to cast Feather, which is double white, and I need Monastery Swiftspear on 1. I want to get Prowess first, so that comes down, and then we got shot. So yeah, Snap got shot, but not quite Snap in the fact that like I actually wanted to hit my Prowess trigger. There's a bird. So I'm going to Noxious Revival my land. I want to make sure I hit it. Then this one's going to be getting a Temple Garden tapped. And I'm putting opponent on pod. Typically, Birds of Paradise means at least 3 colors. Misty's leading me towards blue. Arbor Elf feels like a pretty decent utility creature that you could tutor out. Although, odds are it's just Ponza. Like, I'm probably reading way too much into it, but... Tireless Tracker. This is fine. This is also meaning it's probably Ponza. So I probably need to get a basic here. Screw it. I'm going to be greedy. If we get the right draw, we can just kill our opponent here, so... that's not killing opponent, but... Become Immense with a Feather out's quite good. It can start going downhill pretty quick, though. They have an active Tireless Tracker, and I have no intent on doing anything to it anytime soon. Alright, the clues be coming. Opponent is tapped out, though, so Defiant Strike, Manamorphose. I actually think Manamorphose into Defiant Strike into Become Immense is my best line here. Arid Mesa at least allows me to become immense. So what are the odds I can kill them here? If I attack in and these go unblocked, this is representing 4 damage, 10 damage, 13 damage, so it's not quite lethal yet. If I just become immense Feather, it's going to go back to hand. Monastery Swiftspear can chump block, and then I'll end up having more Del Fodder for another Become Immense. Seems pretty good. This can go get a basic. There might have been an argument there to get green just in case I had to become immense again, but I don't think I have enough mana, so that'd be 2, the 4. Yeah, to become immense isn't hitting the yard. Opponent shouldn't have any mana up, and I don't really have anything to actually threaten. So this deck has some really good feel-good moments in it. Look at that. It came right back after hitting for 9 in the air. Quite frankly, not a ton of setup either. They could technically double bolt Feather. Honestly, if they attack in, I don't even need to block. If they attack in with both, I do. So I'm going to block both just because I am afraid of a bolt actually just finishing me off. Yeah, I mean, if they had the bolt, they had the bolt. Okay. So I think I'm dead now. So like Feather's blocking Tireless Tracker, then that means that I have to get a Swift Spear, and I can't even... Yeah, that got us. I don't even have a basic Forest in the deck. I didn't think it was relevant enough. Alright, so Destructive Revelry doesn't even work. Lightning Bolt feels relevant versus the Arbor Elves. Jamoka's Command, again, needs green. I didn't think through that very well. So I have 6 ways to remove a Blood Moon, but all of them require green, and I don't have a basic Forest. That's a tough one. Apostle's Blessing feels relevant. Blossoming Defense doesn't feel great. Manamorphose will actually let me cast these under a Blood Moon. This can prevent damage from a bolt. It can make them sack Blood Moon, get a 1/1 counter, fight something. I don't like any of this. Honestly, we need better creatures than Swift Spears. I don't know if Slapcaster Mage is the correct call or not, but we need better creatures than Swift Spears. Noxious Revival picking up Fetchlands, go get basic, seems fine, plus Free Spell. Free Spell's great. Battle Rage would have ended the game. Getting in past a bird feels relevant. I don't even know. Maybe it's just not this. Do we try to kill him before a Blood Moon? At least on the play? On the draw, it makes sense to probably bring in Destructive Revelries, but I think on the play we just try to kill him on turn 3. I don't like any of this. And, of course, all the Swift Spears. Alright. Let's go get a Sacred Foundry. Get in with the Swift Spear. Taylor, go poke. That's a ballsy move, opponent. Alright, so I think the way I'm going to sequence this is I'm going to go get a basic. I'm going to Manamorphose, and depending on what I draw into, probably just Swift Spear and get in for damage. So I need red and green. And another land. Lovely. Alright, so I can Apostle's Blessing hit for 5. That doesn't feel very good. Why do I keep drawing so many lands? There's only 20 in the deck. It feels like Apostle's Blessing is actually going to get us lethal the turn that it matters, so... Lovely. Lovely. Alright, let's see if we draw a land. We draw a land! Yeah, let's move on. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12. For shame, deck, for shame. We still have it pulled up. Let's see. So number of successes 20, 12, 8. Almost 1%. So I am feeling like this deck needs to go down lands. That might just be biased. There have been a couple of games where we have like 1 or 2 lands. Hey, look at this. We actually have Kiln Fiends for once. And our creatures aren't going to survive. Okay, so this is getting red-green. Wall of Omens, okay. This isn't nearly as bad as Terminus. Alright, so I can Noxious Revival, make sure I get my land. I think that's just a requirement. Opponent shouldn't be pressuring my life total, and I have 2 Kiln Fiends, which is the only reason I feel confident in running one out right now. I also need to find an Apostle's Blessing to get through this Wall of Omens safely. Alright, I'm expecting a V-click here. Guess not. I don't know what to make of this. I'm planning on Metamorphosing right now. Honestly, the card doesn't mean a whole lot. Alright, so I need green here. Probably best off as a Temple Garden. Get a Blossoming Defense. Do it again, do it again. Really? Okay. So Path is going to resolve. I get to go get a basic, which at this point is going to be a mountain. This is going to resolve, and I'm not going to do much with it, but I can get green, green. And then I'm going to pick up my Blossoming Defense. Or Manamorphose. What's higher priority? Blossoming Defense. I can protect more creatures that way. They still have their Wall of Omens, which is the most frustrating part. Expecting a Restoration Angel out of opponent. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Ah, they're getting rid of my Blossoming Defense. Wait, why would they target me and then leave it? Well, that don't make no sense. Oh, because they were just trying to get Jace out of bolt range. Alright. So I actually have to pay life here if I'm going to Kiln Fiend and put up Blossoming Defense. And opponent knows what's in our hand, but We're just becoming minutes away from being very close to killing them. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't see me resolve the second Noxious Revival. Oh boy. Probably should have done that first. You knew we had Blossoming Defense. Oh well. Let's see how well this goes down. Do you have another path opponent? Apparently not. Otherwise you would have just fired it off. Okay, that works. I'm going to kill Jace just because that's how you lose these games. I don't know. I honestly cannot tell you what is going on. But what I do know is... Lovely. Opponent has had some of the luckiest running I could have possibly imagined. They literally had the exact right answer at every step. Oh well. What are you going to do? Yep. Well, they don't have their land drop, so if this is Miracles, it's not coming. I am still expecting a Resto Angel out of opponent. Alright, what does this Noxious Revival buy me? It buys me Kiln Fiend backed. It buys me Manamorphose, although that doesn't mean much. It buys me Blossoming Defense, although with Teferi out, that doesn't mean much. So I think I'm just going to try to buy back Kiln Fiend and hit opponent for 2. I don't know. If I hit opponent for 3 here, that means Teferi's going away. If they try to bounce it. I don't know. I don't like any of this. We had so many options to do something great, and yet somehow opponent just always had the right card in hand. If they Resto Angel, I'm just going to pack it up. Go to round 2. Alright, so they can pick up a creature. They're probably just going to have to plus again. Yeah, Noxious Revival gets a lot worse when your opponent has a Field of Ruin and a Teferi out. I literally have no idea what's going on. They even had the V-Click. I'm so confused. They targeted me. I have no cards in hand. This is when it feels bad to play Magic. And now they have Big Teferi. I usually try to be positive and like not try to point too much out, but my opponent has no freaking clue what is going on, but they literally had the nut draw. Yeah, opponent's got good cards, but like they have no freaking clue what's going on. Alright, so first and foremost, Shaper's Sanctuary. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So whatever, we're going to get a ton of card advantage. Lightning Bolt is probably coming in just for the sheer fact it kills Jace. Gut Shot's likely coming out. It can kill a V-Click, but it looks like they're on the old list with Resto Angel and Wall of Omen, so this just doesn't have nearly as much impact. There's probably an argument for Rip because opponent is playing the good cards. Like, I imagine they have to have Snapcaster Mage despite being the creature build. I'm so confused. I am just so very, very confused. Noxious Revival feels bad with opponent being on Teferi. Well, like, blue-white is the deck I consider my deck. Like, if I were to sit down and grind something out, blue-white is the deck I'm best with. I have it, like, fully expeditioned out. It's a beautiful deck, but there are correct ways to play the deck, and apparently not everybody feels like you need to play it that way. Alright, so this is a turn 2 Kiln Fiend. Hope it lives. I don't know. My head is still killing me, so I'm just going to go for it. If they end up having a Path or a Spell Snare, then whatever. They have a Path or a Spell Snare. So I am going to be running out the Windswept Heath first, just so I can fill the graveyard for this Become Immense. This is going to have to get a Stomping Grounds for our current setup, which means drawing a Future Feather is bad. Like, we have to draw a white to get a Future Feather. I mean, honestly, control shouldn't be too hard. Like, we're playing like Infect. If we come out fast and hard enough, we can do it, but alright, Temple Garden means that basically everything else in my hand is live. I'm going to get Spell Snared. I just know I am, but you got to go for it. Yeah, honestly, if you get to stack your deck, it's fine. Play like you have never seen these cards before, and you'll still be able to win. Yeah, like, I'm just at a complete loss here. Alright, so I'm going to go for white or red, which means if I draw into a feather, I can cast it. Are you freaking kidding me? Opponent is running the worst list for blue-white I think I have ever seen. Alright, well, I need to take this in combat step off. Probably for both of us. I don't think I had it before. Yeah, you're supposed to have a single spell snare in the 75. Like, you never want to go higher than that, because especially in Modern at the moment, really, you play 2 to 3? Like, the converted mana cost in Modern is everywhere right now. Spell Snare is dead against so many decks. Like, it can hit an Arcbound Ravager, it can hit a Snapcaster, it can hit a Bob, and a Tormagoyf. And that's about it. I guess it hits a Cathartic Reunion. Oh yeah, Teferi's out. Whatever, I'm done. Opponent doesn't know how to play. They've literally had the luckiest hands. We should have put up more of a fight against pretty much every deck but control, but there are a reason why our sideboard has 3 Shaper Sanctuaries in it, and it's because we need to have an answer for when they actually target our stuff. Honestly, feeling a little salty about that last one, but it's probably just the fact that my head is hurting and an opponent was like horribly sequencing. This deck actually had a lot of fun, rewarding lines. I try to usually break it up into like, what can this deck do, what pieces are usable, how much fun I actually had playing with it, how viable it is. This is a very explosive deck, and if your opponent isn't interacting with you, you can definitely race with some of the more degenerate decks in the format. It is actually fairly budget, so like, I didn't make any budget considerations for this deck. I put in the full mana base, I put in just about every card I wanted to see. In paper, it's less than 500. Online, it's less than it's basically 100. But you have the Swift Spears, you have a couple of the burn pieces, you have just a random selectment of buff spells. Feather is probably too cute for this list. The old blue-red Kiln Fiend list were running Serum Visions and Ops, although I think Op came out after that was kind of popular. But just like a assortment of cards, Manamorphose and the lands are going to be the expensive pieces. Become Immense is just a blowout. We had a couple of really fun lines there where we're like, against Merfolk, we just kept buying back Battle Rage. Just kept buying it back. It was amazing. Become Immense is hard to cast multiple times, but it's cute. To Seraphix's point, the Dreadhorde Arcanist, I think that's it, is pretty good. Oh, card. Card. Yep. So whenever it attacks, you can cast an instant sorcery from your graveyard with CMC less than or equal to its power. So you can Defiant Strike, cast just about everything but Become Immense. You cast Become Immense. If you don't have a feather and it doesn't get exiled, you can recast it again, and it's going to be attacking for 13 by itself with Trample. And Double Strike. No, that's if you have the Battle Rage. Sorry, my head is killing me. But yeah, so that's probably a great inclusion for this deck. The synergy between Become Immense and Dreadhorde Arcanist is probably enough to push it over. We did have issues with not having enough creatures. Swift Spear Taylor, despite how awesome she is at poking, wasn't enough damage. Kiln Fiend, the reason why he works, especially in this shell, is because he gets +3/+0, not +1/+1. Dreadhorde Arcanist being able to recast like Defiant Strike seems great. You're probably trimming on Become Immenses though. Like, you're exiling the cards after you cast them. I don't know how to feel about that, but a lot of fun cards like Explodey, Defiant Strike buying back would have been great. We never did that. Mutagenic Growth, we did buy it back twice, I think. Apostle's Blessing should be able to protect your creature, buy it back, trigger Kiln Fiend and Taylor Swift Spear. Like, there's just some fun stuff here. I probably went a little bit too heavy on the Phyrexian manas. Like, this could probably be a Phoenix deck with Faithless Looting. I don't want to endorse that because the Phoenix deck was toxic, but it could probably be there. We have a lot of the same synergies. Basically, you'd end up casting 3 spells. Kiln Fiend gets +9/+0, and then you bring back Phoenixes. I know a couple of the Phoenix lists tried running Kiln Fiend. It just was a little bad, and it didn't really work very well with Titty, which was proving to be superior for actually control. But yeah, fun deck. The lines where you're just like trying to figure out what's Noxious Revival, Manamorphose, and drawing what you Noxious Revival, hitting your fetch lands to make them filter out. Future is probably trim a number of lands. I don't think we have the luxury around playing around Blood Moon. Probably actually just need all the shocks, none of the basics. But trim like 2 lands, add in a couple of more things. Maybe 2 of the Dreadhorde Arcanist, just have another creature you can buff. But fun stuff. I actually really did enjoy this one. Also, a random housekeeping note, I didn't get the Legacy Squirrel video up yet. It's going to require some video editing, and honestly, I'm like closing on a house and doing a bunch of real life stuff, so I'm going to be a little slow on getting that one up, but we will have the Legacy video live soon. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I think that's about it.